Hi friends, I want to tell you a story today. It has surprises and feelings. I hope you like it and want to keep reading. Ready? Let's start. Maria sat in her bright office, looking at a wedding photo on her desk. The photo was from 5 years ago. It should have been a happy moment, but her parents didn't look happy. Their smiles hid their true feelings, and it still made Maria feel sad. In the picture, Maria wore a white wedding dress and stood close to Michael, her husband. It should have been a joyful time, but her parents' faces spoiled it. Maria grew up with her sister Anna in a quiet neighborhood in Hartford, Connecticut, but their home was not always peaceful. Maria remembered her mother praising Anna for wanting to help people. Her parents always compared the sisters. Even when Maria did better in school, her parents focused more on Anna. At Christmas, Anna's presents were always opened first. Her father often said, "You're smart and will be fine, but Anna needs more help." Even when Maria got the best grades, her parents talked more about Anna's volunteer work. At high school graduation, her parents were proud of Anna's cheerleading. While Maria gave the valedictorian speech, Maria learned to hide her feelings and smile quietly. Still, Maria worked hard and found her own path. She graduated top of her class from a good university and got a job at a pharmaceutical company. Meeting Michael, who worked in finance, showed her new chances in life. On her wedding day, at her parents' old house, her mother said, "When Anna gets married, we'll have a bigger party, maybe at that nice hotel near West Farms Mall." Scott hugged Maria gently when those words hurt her. "Don't worry, let's start our new life together," he said kindly. She remembered how warm and soft he was. 5 years passed. Maria and her family talked less. They called only a few times a year and sometimes sent emails. Their Sunday brunches stopped. The emails always talked about Anna's work as a nurse at Memorial General Hospital. Her parents were proud of Anna but ignored Maria's work success. "Anna helped many patients today. She really loves her job." Maria replied politely but stayed busy as the manager of the compliance department at Pharmco Incorporated. She made good decisions calmly, a skill she learned from her family life. Her Starbucks latte on the desk got cold. The warm spring sunlight filled her office. Maria looked away from the wedding photo and back to her computer. She sipped the bitter latte, feeling it might be a sign of what was coming. On her screen, Facebook was open. Between meetings, she scrolled through posts from friends and family. Suddenly, she stopped. A new baby was born at Memorial Hospital, our angel Emma. The post was by Anna Anderson, her sister. The photo showed her sister holding a baby in a hospital bed. Unlike her typically flashy personality, she wore an unusually gentle expression. Their parents stood on either side with beaming smiles, celebrating the birth of a new life. Her mother had tears in her eyes, and her father wore a proud expression. However, Maria's eyes were fixed on something captured at the edge of the photo. On the bedside table, there was a familiar wallet, a black leather luxury brand item, the one she had given her husband for Christmas. Next to it was the distinctive keychain Scott had bought during his Las Vegas business trip. It can't be. Maria's fingertips began to tremble. She checked the timestamp on the screen. The post was from 30 minutes ago. Scott was supposed to be on a business trip to Chicago. Cold sweat trickled down her spine. The office air conditioning suddenly seemed jarring, while gentle spring winds scattered cherry blossoms outside the window. Maria's core was frozen. "Stay calm, stay calm." Whispering to herself, she took several deep breaths. Her experience in the compliance department was serving her well now. She must avoid emotional reactions. She needed to preserve evidence. She took out her smartphone and photographed the computer screen. She also saved screenshots, the post's date and time, comments, number of likes. She recorded everything. "Oh Maria, how unusual to see you on Facebook at this hour." A voice suddenly came from behind. Turning around, she saw her colleague Jennifer standing there, trying to peek at the screen. Maria hastily closed the browser. "Just taking a break. I'm heading out soon," Maria responded, consciously keeping her voice steady. Jennifer looked puzzled but said nothing more. "Congratulations. Wishing you happiness." Her fingers trembled slightly as they struck the keyboard. While typing a comment on the post, Maria desperately suppressed her emotions. She pressed the send button. The posted message that appeared on screen felt somehow hollow. From her desk drawer, she took out a business card holder. Inside was a card for Blackstone Detective Agency, a reliable agency she had used for company investigations before. Maria picked up her smartphone and dialed the number. Hello, Blackstone Detective Agency. Hello, this is Maria from Farmco Incorporated. Miss Wilson, it's been a while. How can we help you today? I'd like to request a personal investigation. After hanging up, Maria began organizing her desk. She needed to cancel her afternoon meetings. She sent a brief email to her secretary. Leaving early due to illness. Please reschedule all afternoon appointments for tomorrow. As she picked up her handbag, Maria looked out the window. The spring sunlight still shone brightly, illuminating the city. However, to her eyes, the scene looked alien. Before leaving the office, she checked her smartphone one more time. The Facebook post had already gathered dozens of likes. Congratulatory messages kept appearing in the comments section, the innocent joy of relatives and friends. Among them, Maria's own congratulations floated coldly. As she stepped into the elevator, her eyes fell on her wedding ring, the symbol of love and trust they had sworn to 5 years ago. Its sparkle now seemed ironic. When she reached the lobby on the first floor, the receptionist greeted her cheerfully. Maria returned a perfunctory smile as she quickly left the building. In the early summer weather, people walking through the high-rise district were all wrapped up in their daily bustle. She hailed a taxi and gave the driver the detective agency's address. As the car started moving and the cityscape flowed past, Maria quietly strengthened her resolve. This was the beginning of the end, and it would become the starting point of a new life. The Blackstone Detective Agency was located on the 15th floor of an old office building downtown. She had visited several times for company investigations, but today felt entirely different. Stepping off the elevator, she saw the dull brass plate at reception. A woman in her late 50s greeted her with a warm smile. John Blackstone is waiting for you. The meeting room she was led to was furnished with heavy wooden furniture. Photographs chronicling the detective agency's long history adorned the walls. Miss Wilson, it's been a while. Mr. Blackstone appeared in his usual navy suit. His graying hair and gentle expression gave him a fatherly air of reassurance. However, his gaze was sharp, reflecting years of experience. This is a personal request, Maria began, explaining the situation while showing him her smartphone screen, the Facebook post, the wallet, and the keychain captured in the photo. Her husband's fake business trip. As she spoke, she noticed her voice was surprisingly calm. I see. Blackstone nodded deeply. Let's start with basic fact-checking. Your husband's recent behavior patterns, credit card usage history, phone records. He meticulously noted the necessary investigation items in his notebook. Given our long-standing relationship of trust, we'll prioritize this investigation. True to his word, the investigation results began coming in at an astonishing pace. The first report was about Michael's travel records. While company documents showed a business trip to Chicago, his name wasn't on any airline reservations. Instead, they found a reservation at the Ritz-Carlton, a luxury hotel within walking distance of Memorial Hospital. We've checked the security camera footage. The detective's report included photos of the two meeting secretly in the hotel lobby. Anna wore a flashy red dress. Scott was in his usual well-groomed suit. The two talked intimately, showing no trace of guilt in their expressions. The credit card usage history spoke volumes as well: luxury restaurants, brand-name shops, and, most shockingly, continuous purchases from high-end baby stores over the past 6 months. Everything had been planned. We've completed the analysis of phone records. Flipping through the report revealed a startling pattern. While Maria worked late nights, frequent calls occurred between Scott and her sister. The number exceeded 500 calls over the past year. We've also obtained Memorial Hospital records. Blackstone pulled out a new file. Pregnancy was confirmed 9 months ago. According to the attending physician's records, she had regular checkups from early pregnancy, and the due date. He hesitated for a moment. Coincides with when Scott first started his business trips. The evidence kept piling up: records of purchasing a luxury brand stroller, rumors of visits to an upscale hot spring together, and most decisively, Hospital security camera footage capturing Scott repeatedly accompanying her to prenatal checkups. Everything was perfectly documented. With this much evidence, you'll have sufficient advantage in divorce mediation. Maria quietly nodded at Blackstone's words. As the next step, let me introduce you to a reliable lawyer. Just then, Maria's smartphone vibrated, a new Facebook notification. More likes on her sister's post, passionate comments from their parents, congratulatory messages from friends. Among them, Maria A. Congratulations glowed cold as ice. Ms. Wilson, Blackstone said quietly as he tidied up the documents. In my experience, many clients become emotional when faced with such situations, but your composure is remarkable. Maria gave a bitter smile. It's what I learned in the compliance department. Don't get swept up in emotions. Gather evidence. Follow proper procedures. That's all. Still, no matter how calm you are, this is family betrayal. If you need anything, please contact us anytime. Whatever we can do. Thank you. Maria stood up and looked out the window. Twilight was approaching, casting a soft light over the city. But I'll be fine. This isn't an ending, it's a new beginning. Before leaving the meeting room, she turned back to Blackstone one last time. One more request. Could you investigate my parents as well? I think there's a high possibility they knew about this situation. Blackstone nodded silently. His expression showed his readiness for the new investigation ahead. Outside, the Twilight City was bustling with people heading home. Maria took a deep breath. The air already carried hints of night, but her heart felt surprisingly clear. She took out her smartphone to schedule an appointment with the lawyer. The evidence was sufficient. Now it was time to prepare legally, and then wait for the moment to reveal the truth. As she got into a taxi, Maria's eyes fell on her wedding ring, that ring that had become unnecessary. Her parents' house maintained the same appearance it had for over 30 years. The well-maintained lawn, her mother's cherished rose garden, and the old brass door knocker at the entrance, everything was familiar, yet felt alien today. Maria took a deep breath in the car. The final report from the Blackstone Detective Agency was in her bag. All the truth, including the investigation results on her parents, was contained within. Are you ready? Sarah Cohen, the lawyer in the passenger seat, spoke quietly. In her late 40s, she was highly regarded as a divorce specialist. Remember, you have many people on your side. When Maria rang the doorbell, her mother came out. Oh, Maria, how unusual. There was a slight tension in her voice. Everyone was already gathered in the living room. Her father sat in his usual spot on the sofa, looking up from his newspaper. Her sister Anna wore a flashy post-pregnancy dress, holding the baby. Scott stood by the window. Thank you all for gathering here today, Maria said. Her voice was surprisingly steady. The sound of Cohen opening her briefcase echoed in the heavy atmosphere. What kind of gathering is this? Her mother asked anxiously. It's a place to discuss the truth, Maria answered calmly. First, please look at these. She laid the evidence out on the table, photos of secret hotel meetings, credit card usage history, hospital records, and numerous messages exchanged between her parents and Anna. This is... Her father's face turned pale. Wait, let me explain. Scott stepped forward. At first, it was just sympathy. She seemed lonely. Lonely? Maria's voice trembled slightly. Or were you just bored with our marriage? That's not it, Scott said quickly. Before I knew it, I was in too deep. He took a step. And you, Dad? Maria turned her gaze toward him, calm but piercing. Why did you turn a blind eye? According to the detective's report, you must have known about their relationship. Silence fell over the room. Their mother began to cry softly. Then Cohen cleared her throat and spoke. Mrs. Anderson, the lawyer addressed her gently. Could you tell us about your past? The color drained from her mother's face. How? We've investigated everything, Maria said. Your teenage pregnancy, hasty marriage, Anne. Stop, her mother screamed. But it couldn't be stopped now. Is that why you were so obsessed with Anna's happy marriage? Maria asked. Is that also why you said, we'll do something grander for Anna at my wedding? I didn't want her to struggle like we did, her mother whispered. Appearances matter. And what about my life? Maria's voice finally cracked with emotion. What about my happiness? Her father stood up, his voice hoarse. Maria, Dad was influenced by Mom and overprotected Anna. She interrupted. My independence was misunderstood as cold, and we grew apart. And then you turned a blind eye to your daughter's affair, all for the sake of family appearances. No one could argue. The evidence was too clear. Now, let me tell you the schedule going forward. Maria took a breath and regained her composure. Cohen pulled out documents. First, the divorce mediation schedule. Then Maria continued, I'll report to Michael's company and Memorial Hospital by tomorrow. The investigation results on their inappropriate relationship will be delivered. Wait, Anna cried out. My job. You should have thought about that, Maria replied coldly. Actions have consequences. Social media announcement? Cohen confirmed. As planned, Maria said. Maria, please, Scott pleaded. I'll demand substantial compensation from you, Maria said, ignoring him. And money to sell the parents' house and relocate. The house? Her father exclaimed in shock. Yes, your credibility in this area will be lost. The baby started to cry. Her mother silently rocked the child, unable to speak. The once perfect family portrait was now crumbling before their eyes. Let's end this. Maria stood up. Cohen quietly packed the documents into her bag. Maria, her mother called one last time. Are you really going to be happy? Maria turned and looked calm. Yes, this time, I will be truly happy. She left the tense living room without looking back. Her new life had already started. 1 year later, in spring, Maria looked out from her new office on the top floor of a shiny glass building. She had been promoted to Director of Compliance at Farmco Incorporated 3 months ago. Her big corner office still smelled like new furniture. On her desk was a magazine article. The headline said, Female Leader Building a New Era in the Pharmaceutical Industry. It showed a picture of Maria looking confident and professional. The article praised her work that was changing how things were done in the industry. Ms. Wilson, the meeting is ready, her secretary Jessica said softly. Thank you. Just 5 more minutes, Maria replied. Her old secretary Sarah had been promoted, thanks to Maria's help. Outside, the sky was clear after a storm. The fresh green leaves on the trees shone in the sunlight. Her phone buzzed. It was news about Michael, her ex-husband. He lost his job after their divorce and had to work in a small city for much less money. His life was not going well. Another news tab showed a headline about Anna. Her nursing license had been suspended after a big problem at the hospital. She lost her job and moved back in with their parents. Being a single mother was much harder than she thought. Their parents, who used to be respected teachers, had to sell their house and move away. They lost everything trying to keep up appearances. Maria whispered quietly, with no regrets. She took out the old wedding photo from her desk drawer. It used to hurt her to see it, but now it felt like a closed chapter. She put it in the shredder, quiet and final. Her new life was better than she had imagined. On weekends, she did yoga classes she always wanted to try. Sunday brunch with friends was now special. Even eating dinner alone felt like taking care of herself, not being lonely. Ms. Wilson, it's time, Jessica said gently. Maria stood up. Today she would present a new compliance system she designed at a board meeting. As she walked down the hall, young workers nodded respectfully. Where she was once seen as cold, now they admired her. She was dignified, strong, and inspiring. Her phone buzzed again, a dinner date confirmation from a university professor. Their talks were easy and pleasant. She was taking things slow but felt excited. Before entering the meeting room, she checked her reflection. Navy suit, simple pearl necklace, light makeup, quiet elegance. She didn't need to practice her presence anymore. It came from inside. Good morning, she said clearly as she walked in. Sunlight filled the room. Maria looked at her reflection in the glass table and smiled quietly. Not from winning or revenge. Just pride. The quiet pride of a woman who had taken back her life. Shall we begin? Her words filled the bright room. This wasn't the end. It was a new start. The start of a new story.